The following is a fan-based review and is owned by Toei Inc. and Bandai. We claim no ownership to the material we are discussing and is based on pure opinion.
Hello, and thank you for coming back to another Top 10 episode.
Tokucast Top 10.
Tokucast Top... Yes.
Yeah.
I used that one. Damn it.
You've used most of them already,
Yeah,
but
sure. Next time.
we're doing one. Jacob was busy today, so we're doing, at the time of this recording, so we're doing one we really wanted to do for a while, but Jacob was kind of not really interested in doing because he doesn't care about this aspect as much as we do, which is Top 10 Sentai fight scenes.
Oh, they're awesome. And we will be doing a Kamen Rider one soon.
Yes, we will. But I feel like with Sentai it's more of a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more aspects when it comes to the fight scenes in
You're going to have
Sentai.
multiple members usually.
Multiple members, bigger groups, hand-to-hand versus weapon, which is a lot more of a thing than it is in Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is very weapon-heavy nowadays, which...
Yeah. I miss the days.
Gaim doesn't count because weapon was part of their theme.
But I miss the days of like Kabuto where it was...
Hand-to-hand first.
Yeah.
I couldn't forget Kabuto had a bladed weapon. That's how often he used it.
Yeah, he didn't really use it that often. But in Sentai, it's just like we have so much more to work with. And I love...
Because each member can sometimes have their own weapons, which brings their own fighting style. But do we have any honorable mentions? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do this time around. It's just we end up really focusing on the ones that really stuck out to us the most. And a lot of our opinions end up being the same.
We did kind of set one criteria. We want it to be an actual fight as much as possible. That means both participants have to be participating. Usually. By participating, I mean trying.
Yeah.
Like, a couple times we thought of Abra Killer versus Abba Red in one scene, but Abba Red really didn't do much.
Until the very end.
Until the very end, and then he just still got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So that didn't really make the list. But why don't we start off with number 10, which was less because of the actual fighting and more because of the...
Emotional.
How much it hurt in the heart.
So for number 10, we have Chain Dragon versus Booba.
This is their final fight where Booba dies at the end.
Yeah. It's such a good scene.
Not just because of the actual fighting, the setting, the story behind it, the build-up to it, and good God, it hurt my soul.
It was just so well done, so well choreographed, and I just felt so bad at the end of it. But it's like, I felt like it was a release at the same time for Booba, because in Changeman, it's more the fact that there's a way in, but there's no way out. On releasing the side of the villains.
No way.
But it's just like, it hurts so much with Booba just because of the fact of what he had to go to. And this is like, after the time that we get his actual backstory, it's so powerful, it's so well done. And that said, and some of the background has been done so many times in Sentai and other things because
of this scene.
It's so good. I'm so happy that we already have our Change review, and the fact that it's our most viewed video. But it's
by a lot.
But it's just
14,000 views.
50.
50? Who the fuck is still watching this? And thank you.
But yeah, the Changeman versus Booba fight was amazing. It was so well done.
We love Changeman, though.
It's a great season. Number 9, Deca Master. The first time that he ends up showing up.
This is kind of the dancing on the edge of that rule I just said earlier.
Yeah.
He goes through 100 minions. They are trying, though.
Now, to mention, as we all know, Deca Master has 100 on his chest. So they set this number of 100 enemies for him to fight. And man, does he just
walk through them.
He's like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to be a badass, and that's going to be my entire story arc right
I love how, in some cases, one swing takes out like 5 of them.
Yeah, it creates like a sonic boom behind it, and just like 5 enemies dead. And Deca Master's a great character, great suit, and it's just
one of his favorites.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite suits. Number 8, Zuo the Whale.
Specifically, very recently he was fighting, and he's doing his normal, very kind of Tai Chi style fighting, as elegant.
No, it's like when the fight starts off, he first transforms into Zuo the Whale, and he turns into Wizard Liquid, and just walks through the guy, and then we end up getting like this close-up shot of his face just going up, and I'm sitting here like, are you serious though? It was so well done. It was so well choreographed. Like, I had to watch it a few times because I didn't see it. I was like, how in the world did he end up over there? But his fights, like, as Zuo the Whale, are just so Tai Chi based. It's supposed to be water. It's supposed to be flowing like water.
Yeah.
And seeing him fight is just, it's a treat in itself. And I love the choreography in Zyuohger overall, like with all the flips and everything that Leo and Amu and everybody else does. But it's just like watching him fight as Zuo the Whale is just a great thing to see. I love it.
We love Zuo the Whale in general.
Yeah, we just like Zyuohger in general.
We like Zyuohger in general, but Zuo the Whale, he has a super soaker that can take a chunk out of the moon. Watch. Has that video come out yet?
Yeah, that's the Gokaiger episode.
No. The video we made where we talked about the Zuo the Whale. I don't think that's come out yet. Or no, that was Power Up Poems. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he takes a chunk out of the moon with a super soaker.
It was great. This guy's good.
So great. Next.
Number 7. Geki Ranger.
Specifically the final fight.
Yeah.
Because where they... Not only is it great because all of Geki Ranger's fight scenes are amazing because we love Kung Fu movies and stuff. And this was a Kung Fu Sentai, so with this and Dai Ranger, we were done. But when they not only were fighting them with the two styles they picked up throughout the series, then a third style from villains that they've beaten was just
I still remember
goosebump-inducing.
that one scene where it's just like they were fighting Long and it was blue and yellow, like hands on him, and then Red came behind and just like pushes Chi straight through him.
And
I was sitting here like, okay, I get you now.
When we're done recording this, can we just rewatch that
Yes,
scene?
we need to rewatch that scene.
Okay.
This
We
is great.
love Geki Ranger. In terms of when we were having to pick a specific fight scene for this, I think a close second for us is just the 12 Hours Blue fought
The Antelope.
Yeah.
He's the greatest.
Yeah.
It's so well. Geki Ranger had a lot of really well choreographed scenes, and it really shows throughout like the amount of martial arts they end up using throughout the show overall. And so good, so good. But number 6, Kyoryuger.
Kyoryuger had some great fight scenes, a lot of which are because they were in suit, and in my opinion, they were great because of how diverse the fighting styles were. Because we have Blue in his wrestling, Green in his reverse blade grip, which you don't see in Sentai a lot. Then you've got Gold with his, you got Gold with his samurai, you've got Black with his shooting, and you got Pink with kicking, which, yeah.
And Red just with his overall.
Yeah, Red, which is kind of, he's just a bit of everything. But specifically, one of my favorites, and I remember you freaking out about this scene too when it first came out, there is a scene near the end of the series where they cannot morph in this certain area, so they fight out of suit. And the fighting that they do is just amazing. I think you said Blue did a wrestling move that's now illegal because it can paralyze somebody.
Yeah. It's like, we don't, like, of course, it wasn't the actual actors in the suits, and I think that's what sort of put it so far down our list in some of these cases, especially because one other case we have was much higher, someone who does it out of suit. But it's still a lot of the fights is great. I love the fact that they incorporate the roll call a lot into their fights.
Yes.
And that makes it great.
That is one of the, oh man, I love Kyoryuger, my favorite Sentai.
Number 5, Shinkenger.
What can we say about Shinkenger other than the holy shit, the masterful swordplay in this series? Now, we are specifically referring to two fight scenes.
Yeah.
With him,
with Shinken Red
versus...
I think it was Juzo and the random monster of the week that week, which was also Samurai.
And it was just a nice three-way fight on a rock choreo, of course. But the beautiful swordplay in this fight, and not a word spoken.
Now, in the second one, it was just Shinken Red
versus
Juzo on top of a cliff, which was like there was no music, there was no words.
There was the sound effects, of course, but
it's just like you had them running throughout the water and just fighting in the water and fighting on top of that cliff, and it was just so good. It was so tense watching that scene. I felt like this the entire time.
It's one of those moments where you know here that Red's gonna win or he's not gonna die, but in the back of your mind, you've watched this show and you're like, they could get away with killing him.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember, was this before or after they introduced the female Red?
Before.
Okay.
Before. She didn't get introduced.
Fair enough. But there was still that back of your mind of going, Red could not get through this.
Yeah, it was...
And the fact that you can make you think that, even in the back of your mind, is scary.
Yeah, Shinkenger had, like, swordplay isn't as important to me as, like, martial arts, but it's just, like, it's
with this show, with swordplay has to be more important than martial arts.
It's so well done, so well choreographed. It's just, like,
I would also like
good.
I would also like to point out, you just said that, and our number one is a lot more swordplay than martial arts.
I know, but
we'll
get
there.
Yeah. Well, number one is sort of what it's about.
But the scene you were specifically referring to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Number 4.
Oh, 4. Sorry, I lose count.
Blue Mask from Mask Man.
Specifically, I'm
Out of suit.
an out-of-suit fight scene with him and 2 swords.
Yeah.
And he gets so high on this list because, 1, it's impressive. Not only that it's an impressive fight, but 1, that it's out of suit, and 2, it's him.
Yeah, it's his actual actor.
No stunt double.
Yeah. He does a lot of his own stunts in this show, but all the ones with the swords are legitimately all him. His actor is actually proficient at the dual Chinese sword fighting style. And just seeing him, like that whole episode with the tournament, just seeing him just going and just fighting everybody, it's so well done. And we don't really end up having, especially nowadays, where the actor that they end up getting is also proficient at martial arts. But with Blue Mask, it was just so refreshing to see someone like that.
The sad thing is, because lately we don't get as many out-of-suit fight scenes since Kyoryuger.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I really wish that they would end up bringing it back soon. I hope they bring it back in Q Ranger. It probably won't, but I really hope they end up bringing it back soon, where it's just like.
Or maybe in the next Sentai could be another martial.
Well, we got it in Tokucast because Hikari he practiced karate.
Fair enough.
And they had the whole episode where he and Wright were fighting at the tower.
But the problem with that is it was Tokucast.
No, the problem with that is just one of them. And Master, we ended up getting a lot more everywhere.
I was just making a Tokucast bad joke.
It's not as bad as some other shows.
They're very true. But
yeah, Blue Mask is just, he's great. Watching those scenes, I watch them every once in a while, just seeing like how impressive and how well the choreographed.
Now, our top 3 are mainly in suit fights.
Yeah.
Which, we understand why they have to be in suit because you gotta get the professionals in there, but number 3 is less about the skillfulness in martial arts and more about the adaptiveness of the situation because it's a weapon-based fighting style completely. Cannot deny that. There's really not a lot of hand-to-hand in this. But in a lot of episodes in this series, some of the weapon play is beautiful. Specifically with 1 or 2 of them, and not to mention how different... You'd think, with only 2 weapons, you'd be very straightforward, but they can really make it work in such different ways. And that's why number 3 is Gokaiger. Which, the moment that... From episode 1...
When they, switched everybody's weapons
They switched everyone's weapons around. That entire fight scene, you know that these guys have practiced.
Yeah.
They are very familiar with each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they kick ass. And the best part about that is you can see in certain flashbacks how far they've come. Remember when they would used to show Ahim first trying out the gun, and she got, knocked on her ass from the recoil?
Yeah.
And now she can dual wield them no problem.
It's just... Watching them fight and not to mention transform into all the other Sentais as well.
And then using those abilities. Yeah. Geki Rangers, Dai Rangers, everything.
It's just so good seeing them like that. I love watching Gokaiger, not just because of the fact that I really enjoy the characters, but because of the fact that those fights are just always really memorable. And that helps solidify this.
Remember Blue wielding 5 swords at once?
Well, that was but it's just
and then it was even stupider in Super Mega Force.
Yeah, it was worse. But it's so well done with in Gokaiger.
Just with the sound effects that the guns made, because they sounded like the guns they're based on. There was no laser sound effects. It was sounding like a very small cannon.
Yeah. Gokaiger is just great, and I can't wait till we get to that review in
5 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while, but it's still good. I loved everything. Because it's just great. It's great.
Not to mention Yellow's weird ability, she can put the swords on wires.
Yeah. Gokaiger just had so many great fights. But
there were still 2 shows that did it better.
Number 2.
Marcus's personal favorite.
Dai Ranger.
Pretty much all of Dai Ranger.
All of Dai Ranger. Especially with the staffs. When they use those, they're just it's...
A reason why this is... But I still think a reason why it's not number 1 is that they never really got those nice close-up shots on how complicated some of these moves are, which is what number 1 did a lot.
Yeah.
But the amount of weapons that Dai Ranger uses, and then still primarily use hand-to-hand.
Yeah. And their styles are apparent.
Oh, yes, especially with Yellow.
Yeah, especially with Yellow. It's just their styles are so... yellow and pink, really. Their styles are so apparent in the moves that they end up doing. It's so much fun watching the fights in this show because they're just so well done, so well choreographed. Watching them use the Dairen rods, it's just what even? I can't with this show half of the time because I have to like go back and rewind just so I can see like the maneuvers that they end up doing with the staffs or maneuvers that they end up doing with their feet or hands or something like that. It's just all so much fun to watch. And that really is what makes Die Ranger just one a really top tier show. Because their use of martial arts is like Masked Man was but with Die Ranger it's like they perfected that. And I think that's what helped Die Ranger just last as long as it has.
Yeah, but it still could not outshine number one, which is unfortunate but understandable.
Yeah.
Because number one is all of Go Busters.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
I remember that one, like, they have some filler episodes, don't get me wrong, but there was this one filler episode where...
The sniper guy?
No, not that one. I know what you're going to talk about, but the one with the cotton candy maker.
Oh, yeah.
But there was this one scene where, like, he shoots, like, a laser at Blue, and Blue had, like, monitored his fight style throughout the entire thing, so he spun his sword around the laser.
Oh, yeah.
And just used it against the guy. I'm sitting here like, what are you? Because watching
this is
fights...
Because this is one of the only Sentai where, yes, they don't really have their own individual weapons, but their team weapon is a very short sword.
Yeah.
It is a short sword by any means.
But they're so fast.
Their blades are about this long.
Yeah.
But it's the fencing style.
Yeah.
But if we had to pick a scene from Go Busters, because trust me, that was a struggle.
Yeah.
But when we remembered this one, it was when it was started off of Red versus Enter. In Enter's monster form. There is this one moment where Red blocks his rapier by holding his sword like this. And we're just like, what even? And then he becomes Dark Red Buster. And that entire fight.
Yeah, it's like that first fight where it was Enter in his like unleashed form and Red Buster like falling off of the building and like them flashing around and everything. The use of the powers in this season is just like,
especially when you give Red this ability, especially with the power up form and he's just Nightcrawler.
It's like when them teleporting around and everything, it was so well choreographed, like them fighting with that bridge, and then them at the very end where they're like in the at the computer world with Enter, and it's the entire team fighting against them. It's just, this show was so well done. Like, the show itself was a mess.
The plot, yeah.
The fights were just always a treasure to watch.
They were always a treasure to watch, because another thing that I kind of just realized, how many other Sentais other than like maybe Go Busters or something where part of the team is dedicated to being ranged attacks and the other parts go in for close up.
It's like, it really helps because a lot, like their finisher, at least for the sword, is the button on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that fight during with Enter and Red Buster where he like were just, you know, they were going at it and the Red Buster just hits and then Enter teleports away before he hits him. I'm saying you're like, wow. Oh god, there's so many good things about Go Busters. Like, so many good things about Go Busters, at least in terms of the fights. There's always
in terms of sword play, I think we really, really like those rapier styles where it's because it's a very flashy style, but with those complicated blocking moves and the, what's the term for it when you deflect it?
A deflect?
Well, no, there's a fencing term for it.
I have no idea.
Oh, God. Parry. Parry. I knew it was a P. But it was parry. With those parry moves and everything, it's just it's very pleasing to the eye to watch.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why we love things like, a lot of Red's fights in Gokaiger and Wizard and...
Yeah, I really like some of the things that Blue did, because Blue was more of a wrestler, but it's like he had some scenes where like he would just go in low and just take somebody out real quick. It's just like, that would just be you on the ground. Because I remember he did that with Escape, he did that with Enter. But it's just,
and the teamwork with these three were fantastic.
Yeah.
I was rewatching the first Superhero Tyson scene where they fought against some of the monsters from Daishocker and Decade. Specifically of them versus Decade, the teamwork where Blue knocks him up and Yellow knocks him down with her jump ability. And it's just fantastic, the teamwork.
And then that whole thing with Red Busters versus Kabuto.
That was great. But... oh, God.
Let's take a moment to just reflect
on Go Busters' awesomeness.
Just, Go Busters might be the best show, but damn.
Those fights.
That and Die Ranger, just like, I don't need anything else.
But as always, hit that like button if yours made the list. If it didn't, let us know what yours was in the comments.
Leave a comment below because so many of you have been commenting lately. Thank you.
We do love hearing your feedback, people.
It's fun.
But as always, this has been the Tokucast Top 10. We hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did making this list. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.